ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, welcome to the extras. Alright, so if you've been watching this far, you've seen that we've just played The Strange Horticulture. However, and we got ending 2 in that. However, it appears there are 8 endings in that. So what we're going to do for this little extra, this is YouTube only. So what we're going to do is I'm going to play through the game off stream, and we're going to get all 8 endings. That's the plan. So, in doing that, I will put the second ending in again in this video. So you'll be able to just go through and pick which ending you want to watch, 1 through 8. And we're going to basically start each one of them from having the plants in situ, having done what we need to do to get the multiple endings. So yeah, we'll start with the plants in situ, we'll go through there, we'll go to the page that tells us which ending we've got, and as I go through and get all of them, we'll get the endings in order, we'll put it on YouTube, and everyone can watch along. So, I hope you enjoy. Here we go. And we're back. I've always got to start with that, don't I? Alright, so we have the plants in. We've been doing all of the things. So to get... yes, we'll just get all the endings. Anyway, here we go. We're off. Verona will take it from here. I stand back and watch as Verona walks around the shrine, muttering soft incantations. It feels like a long time passes before she looks up, but in reality it was perhaps only 10 minutes. Nothing's happening. What do you mean nothing's happening? Have we got the right plants? I think so. Perhaps we just need to be patient. A huge splintering crash behind us makes us all spin round to look across the clearing. A huge creature, its head and shoulders visible above the treetops, is making its way towards us, ripping up trees as it advances. The servant. Dun dun dun! What was that about being patient? I think we're out of time. At that moment, the woman in the jade mask comes hurtling out of the woods at the other side of the clearing. She takes in the scene and heads towards Reuben, ripping her mask off and flinging it into the dirt. Father! Thea? Reuben runs towards her and they embrace in the center of the clearing as the servant bears down. I can clearly see the tears flowing down Thea's stricken face as she looks up at her father. I'm so sorry. I've been a fool. I thought I could control it, but I can't. It's too strong. Oh, what have I done? She runs towards the shrine, bringing out a small vial of red liquid from within her cloak and thrusting it into Verona's hands. It's my blood. Oh, it's blood. My blood. I know what to do, dearie. But before she can act, the servant bursts through into the clearing, sending 100-year-old ash and elm hurtling as though they were saplings. Do your worst! Reuben locks eyes with the servant and grabs a sturdy branch, running off to the side to draw the creature away from the shrine. The huge beast lunges towards him with a terrifying roar. Reuben brings up the branch as the servant closes the gap and brings its large skeletal claw arcing down. The branch splinters and Reuben is sent reeling backwards, but he doesn't have time to regain his footing before the beast is on him, slashing and maiming. Father, no! Thea crumples to the floor, wailing as Verona fumbles with the stoppered vial. Turning back towards the shrine, she pours the blood into a small cavity at its base, and then everything happens at once. The servant makes a desperate charge towards us, and I am certain that we are going to be devoured, but Thea steps forward and raises her arms. Get back, servant! Stop! I command you! The servant falters for a moment as though wrestling against some invisible force, but it regains control almost immediately. It thrusts one spear-like appendage forward and impales Thea through the abdomen. Damn, everyone's dying. At that same time, a pillar of bright white light launches out of the shrine towards the servant and hits it in the chest. The huge beast shrieks and staggers backwards, flinging Thea's lifeless body to one side. Skidoosh. There is an almighty thunderclap and a blinding flash of light, and suddenly the servant is gone. A patch of charred ground smoulders where it stood just moments before. My head is spinning at what has just happened. Did it work? Have we defeated the servant? Friday. With the dust settled and the servant vanquished, I've been able to reflect on the events of the last few weeks. The devastation wrought by the ancient beast was greater than anyone had imagined. By the end, Thea had lost control entirely, as has been made clear from the tales coming from Haverig and Bootle. Without our intervention, who can say what the final toll would have been? In contrast, Undermere has never felt so jubilant, so full of life. All the nervous tension that had built up evaporated in an instant, and the people have ploughed their energies into celebration and merriment. They do not know the whole truth, of course, that Thea, the woman in the jade mask, was the one who summoned the servant. In the end, she gave her life to help us defeat it. Verona and I have kept quiet by unspoken agreement. And as for myself, well, I'm back in the calm of strange horticulture, of course, with hellebore for company. It's quieter around here, and I miss my friend Reuben, but I am content, and there are always more plants to learn about and discover. Ta-da! A bloody mess. The servant is gone, a victory of sorts, but one tinged with sadness at the death of our friend. The end. Ending 1. Tomb. Pronounced Tom. Tomb. One of those. Alright, so. Reuben Ward, deceased. Verona Green is alive. Ennis Aylford is in hiding. Forrest Vare, wounded. Bethany Coleman, alive. Faye Swift, alive. Thea Ward, deceased. And Isidore Burbage is alive. So there we go. That was ending 1. Ta-da! So now we get to go on with ending 2. Which one shall we do? Alright. Ending 2 it is. Hey! So it was Widow's Woe, we just had the wrong one. Well done, I'll take it from here. I stand back and watch as Verona walks around the shrine muttering soft incantations. It feels like a long time passes before she looks up, but in reality it was perhaps only 10 minutes. Nothing's happening. What do you mean nothing's happening? Have we got the right plants? Frickin' hope so. I think so. Perhaps we just need to be patient. A loud noise behind us makes us all jump. Turning around, I see something that makes my blood run cold. The woman in the jade mask is walking calmly and slowly towards us from the other side of the clearing. Behind her, standing tall and terrifying, is the black silhouette of the servant. Ooh. What was that about being patient? I think we're out of time. Do not be afraid. I am here to surrender willingly. The servant cannot be allowed to. Arrgh! Creature lunges forward and brings a huge arm scything towards her. Her scream pierces the cold air as she drops to her knees, clutching her head, but the blow seems to glance off to one side as it comes hurtling down, and the beast claw ends up embedded in the dirt instead of the woman's back. Yay! I can't hold it back much longer. You need this. He throws a small vial of red liquid, which Reuben deftly catches and holds up to the light. Blood. Quickly, I know what to do. Verona grabs the vial and fumbles to get the stopper out as she turns back to the shrine. The servant has its huge arm free again and is slowly advancing with strange jerking movements. Verona pours the blood into the small cavity in the shrine, and everything seems to happen at once. A pillar of bright white light launches out of the shrine towards the servant and hits it in the chest. The huge beast shrieks and staggers backwards, drowning out the screams of the woman in the jade mask who is clutching her head and writhing in agony on the ground. Oh, skadoosh. There is an almighty thunderclap and a blinding flash of light, and suddenly the servant is gone. A patch of charred ground smoulders where it stood just moments before. My head spinning at what has just happened. Did it work? Have we defeated the servant? I don't know. Hey, perform the ritual. Nice. Friday, with the dust settled and the servant vanquished, I have been able to reflect on the events of the last few weeks. We were fortunate that Thea was able to stay in control of the beast for as long as she did. Who can say what would have happened if she was unable to prevent it causing the destruction it craved? That's a sentence. Right? Undermere has never felt so jubilant, so full of life. All the nervous tension that had built up evaporated in an instant, and the people have ploughed their energies into celebration and merriment. They do not know the whole truth, of course, that Thea, the woman in the jade mask, was the one who summoned the servant. I promised Reuben that I would leave it to him to unravel that mess. She is his daughter after all. And as for myself, well, I'm back in the calm of strange horticulture, of course, with hellebore for company. It's quieter around here, but I'm content, and there are always more plants to learn about and discover. Complete the game. Huzzah! The Sleeping Dendru. Okay, I got ending 2, Elderfinium. Oh, okay. Hey! It is done. The 7 can go back to being a dark story for the dusty shelves. The end. Ending 2. Alright, so we have Reuben Ward is alive. 1 down, 7 to go, right? Verona Green is alive. Bethany Coleman is deceased. Faye Swift, the psychic, is alive. Ennis Aylford is in hiding. Forrest Vare was wounded. Thea Ward is in hiding. Isidore Burbridge is alive. I'm not sure I care if the Isidore Burbridge got dead. So what I'm just going to quickly do is have a look at Strange Horticulture. Endings. Huh. 8 possible endings. Alright, so that was ending 2. We will have to see. We'll have to figure out a different ending. Alright, next ending. Here we go. The stone circle is an impressive sight. Running my hand along the red sandstone of Long Meg, I feel a connection to the long-dead people who built it. There is ancient magic here. Faye arrives sometime after me. Do you have the elixir? It's now or never. Suddenly, Simone's warning comes back to me. What do I really know about this Faye? Perhaps it would be safer to take the elixir myself. I could use Swift Snare to bind her. I realize I have a decision to make. We're going to Swift Snare. The Swift Snare catches Faye unaware, latching onto her slowly at first, but then as she struggles to break free, it binds her tighter, strong curling vines leaping out to restrain her. Within moments, she is still, her eyes piercing me with fearsome hatred. There is no backing out now. I will drink the elixir myself. Elixir of control. The elixir tastes foul, like rotting fruit, but I force it down and somehow keep hold of the contents of my stomach. At first, nothing happens, but my pulse quickens as I feel it begin to take hold. It's as though I'm in 2 places at once, my mind swirling as it grapples with a dizzying new reality. And then the barrier is broken and everything floods through. I sense fear, and I am surprised to find that it is not my own. It is the woman in the jade mask, Thea Ward. I do not need to be told her name. I know it now. Get out, get out, get out! I hear her words echo around my mind, as real as if she had spoken them out loud. She is screaming at me to get out. But why should I? I realize that I can brush her aside with ease, and suddenly there it is, a seductive darkness that I am part of, and it of me. I am the Dendru, the dread. I am death. Friday. Time has passed since I became master of the servant. I do not know how long. Time stretches back into darkness in my mind. I am eternal. I am powerful. What have I done? Why? There is no what. There is no why. I can't think clearly. I will kill them. Kill who? Faces swim out from the void. Friends. They will not be harmed. They will not. I am in the shop. I am on a hillside. I smell earth and life, damp soil, green leaves, stained oak. I taste blood, matted fur, snapping bone. I am the horticulturalist. I am the Dendru, the dread. I am death. I am the Dendru. The servant is mine to control. Nothing will stand in my way. Ending 3. Gilded Dendra. Reuben's alive, Verona's alive, Ennis is alive, Forrest Fair alive but wounded, Bethany Coleman deceased, Faye Swift alive, Thea Ward in hiding, and Isidore Burbridge alive. So there we go. And here we go. And next ending. Here we go. The stone circle is an impressive sight. Running my hand along the red sandstone of Long Meg, I feel a connection to the long dead people who built it. There is ancient magic here. Faye arrives sometime after me. Do you have the elixir? It's now or never. Suddenly, Simone's warning comes back to me. What do I really know about this Faye? Perhaps it would be safer to take the elixir myself. I could use Swift Snare to bind her. I realize I have a decision to make. Swift Snare. Swift Snare catches Faye unaware, latching onto her slowly at first, but then as she struggles to break free, it binds tighter. Strong curling vines leaping out to restrain her. Within moments, she is still, her eyes piercing me with fearsome hatred. There is no backing out now. I will drink the elixir myself. Elixir of control. The elixir tastes foul, like rotting fruit, but I force it down and somehow keep hold of the contents of my stomach. At first nothing happens, but my pulse quickens as I feel it begin to take hold. It's as though I'm in two places at once, my mind swirling as it grapples with the dizzying new reality. And then the barrier is broken and everything floods through. I sense another presence, alarmed, probing my mind. This is the woman in the jade mask, Thea Ward. I do not need to be told her name. I know it now. And there, behind it, but also part of it, the black chasm of the Dendru. No! An ancient consciousness cascades into my own, and I am overwhelmed. My thoughts are stretched like galaxies drifting apart, time woven into thin silk. I try to pull back, but I cannot, and slowly, as though my thoughts have further to travel, I realize my mistake. You will not take this from me, horticulturalist. She is the Dendru, the dread. She is too strong. What have I done? I tried to take the servant for myself. What madness led me down that path? The woman in the jade mask brushed me aside with ease, and I was lost in the darkness. When I came to, I released Faye and fled with what little sanity I possess. I have returned to strange horticulture to gather supplies, but I cannot stay here. I could feel the hatred and the bloodlust when I glimpsed their mind. She, or perhaps more accurately, the servant, for they are one and the same now, will hunt me wherever I go. I must travel far, far away from Undermere, and hope that will be enough. She is the Dendru. I was weak and a fool. I should never have tried to take it for myself. The end. Ending 4, Swift Snare. Reuben Ward alive, Verona Green alive, Ennis Aylford alive, Forrest Vare wounded but alive, Bethany Coleman deceased, Faye Swift alive, Thea Ward alive, and Isidore Burbridge alive. There we go. Okay, on to the next ending. And now we go for the next ending. The stone circle is an impressive sight. Running my hand along the red sandstone of Long Meg, I feel a connection to the long-dead people who built it. There is ancient magic here. Faye arrives sometime after me. Do you have the elixir? It's now or never. Suddenly, Simone's warning comes back to me. What do I really know about this Faye? Perhaps it would be safer to take the elixir myself. I could use Swift Snare to bind her. I realize I have a decision to make. We're going to give her the elixir of control. I watch in solemn silence as Faye unstoppers the glass bottle and raises it to her lips. She hesitates for a brief moment before tilting back her head and drinking in large gulps. For what seems like an eternity, nothing happens. Faye is sitting cross-legged in the middle of the stone circle. Her eyes are closed. Suddenly her eyes snap open and she lets out a high-pitched wail. No, how can she be this strong? Her hands fly to her head as she screams in pain. She writhes around on the ground and I try to comfort her, but she flails about wildly, clawing at my chest and face, and then she is still. She is here. At that, Faye spins around fearfully as we hear a menacing sound away to the west. I look up in the direction of the noise, and what I see strikes fear through me. The servant is charging towards the stone circle at an astonishing pace, and perched atop its shoulders rides the woman in the jade mask. The servant is mine! The creature leaps over the perimeter of the circle and lands in front of the cowering Faye. As she raises her hands in pitiful defense, the servant strikes with its powerful jaw, killing her instantly. As the servant feasts on its prey, the woman in the jade mask turns her attention to me. You should know better, horticulturalist. I am the Dendru, the Dread. I am death. And with that, the huge creature rises, bright red blood dripping from its gaping maw, and I am certain my fate is sealed. I close my eyes and wait for the end. But the blow never comes. Instead, the servant, the woken Dendru, the Dread, turns and walks away, led by the woman in the jade mask. What have I done? I have had some time to reflect on the events of the last few weeks. I see Faye's face every night as I lie awake, unable to sleep. I do not know what went wrong. The elixir seemed to work, but I think the woman in the jade mask had too strong a hold over the servant. It should have been me who took the elixir. I'm not saying I could have succeeded where Faye failed, but it should have been me. Either way, the servant remains under the control of the woman in the jade mask, but neither she nor it have been seen since. Undermere remains restless and tense, fearful of the violence that could descend at any moment. For my part, I hope that the woman in the jade mask, whoever she is, has reclaimed her humanity and taken the servant far from here. I think often about the way the creature looked at me before it turned away. It was not hunger or hatred, it was cold indifference. Angered the beast. I thought I was doing the right thing. Instead, I've stirred the hornet's nest. The end. Ending 5. Dead Man's Fingers. So, Reuben is alive, Verona is alive, Ennis is alive, Forrest wounded but alive, Bethany Coleman deceased, Faye Swift deceased, Thea Ward alive, and Isidore Burbridge is alive. There we have ending 5. On to the next one. Alright, next ending. Here we go. So we are going up here. The stone circle is an impressive sight. Running my hand along the red sandstone of Long Meg, I feel a connection to the long-dead people who built it. There is ancient magic here. Faye arrives sometime after me. Do you have the elixir? It's now or never. Suddenly, Simone's warning comes back to me. What do I really know about this Faye? Perhaps it would be safer to take the elixir myself. I could use Swift Snare to bind her. I realize I have a decision to make. We're giving her the elixir. Ba-ding! I watch in solemn silence as Faye unstoppers the glass bottle and raises it to her lips. She hesitates for a brief moment before tilting back her head and drinking in large gulps. For what seems like an eternity, nothing happens. Faye is sitting cross-legged in the middle of the stone circle. Her eyes are closed. Suddenly her eyes snap open, darting back and forth unnaturally, and she starts muttering to herself. It's mine. Get out. It's mine, it's mine, it's mine. She stands up and looks straight ahead, her eyes wide, her expression impossible to read. She stretches out her arms in front of her. Come to me. She stands like that for some time, totally still, waiting patiently. I try talking to her, but she is unresponsive. I am considering trying to revive her with some Norwood when I hear a strange noise. I turn towards the source of the noise, and I am gripped by terror at what I see. A huge beast is careening towards the stone circle, covering 20 feet with every stride. Plant-like growths protrude from its gruesome head and body, and its long dark limbs end in knife-like claws. I realize I've never known true fear until now. Faye seems unperturbed, however, excited even, as the servant approaches. When at last the creature stands before us, towering above our heads, she reaches out and touches it, appearing to savor the moment. Of course, she controls it now. The elixir worked. My turn. At that, the servant lifts back its head and roars, a horrendous primal scream that I feel throughout my body, and then it leaps forward, ripping an ancient rock from the stone circle and hurling it away as though it were a pebble on a riverbank. Grr! Faye shrieks with delight, and the servant reaches out a gnarled claw and delicately lifts her onto its back. I am left in stunned silence as the creature strides away in the direction it came from, the crazed Faye whooping and hollering as she rides her terrible prize. What have I done? We don't know. Friday. Some time has passed between Faye taking control of the servant and now. I would like to be able to say that all has been resolved, that Faye took charge and brought the creature to heel, but that is not the case. Where before the servant was a threat in the shadows, now it is a menace that threatens all our lives. The towns of Sadgill and Kentmere have been laid to ruin. The streets of Undermere are awash with tired and cold refugees who have fled their homes. How long will it be before she turns her attention south? One small grace that my actions have led to is that Thea, the woman in the jade mask, has regained hold of her sanity and has been reunited with her father, my friend Reuben. I promised him that I would leave it to him to unravel that mess. As for myself, I have slunk back to strange horticulture with my tail between my legs, ashamed of the choices I have made. If there is to be an end to this, I will play no part in it. A new terror. I was wrong to trust Faye, the servant is hers now. The end. Ending 6. Solomon's Scepter. Reuben's alive, Verona's alive, Ennis is alive, Forrest Fair alive but wounded. Bethany Coleman deceased. Faye Swift alive. Whoops. Thea Ward in hiding, and Isidore Burbridge is alive. So there we go. And then we were off to the next ending. And next ending. Alright, so when I arrive at the stone circle, Aelfred is already waiting for me. Behind him is a group of 5 hooded figures, all bearing the now familiar mark of the Seeds of Redemption. Did you bring the elixir? We only have one chance at this. It has to be now. Dendru's elixir. You're in there somewhere. I hand over the bottle of brown liquid and Alfred snatches at it greedily. The redemption is at hand, my brothers and sisters. Praise the Dendru. Bring forth the receptacle. A shallow iron bowl is brought forward and placed in front of Alfred. He mutters some words and pours the brown liquid into the vessel. As he chants softly, a thin tendril of grey smoke begins to ascend, slowly at first and then rising with his voice, stronger and stronger until it is a whirling vortex 20 feet high. The minutes stretch out as I wait with apprehension for what is to come. But nothing happens. Eventually, Alfred speaks again. It is done. Now we wait. An hour later. The sun is hanging low in the sky when we finally hear it, a long, low growl that sends shivers down my spine. Moments later, the woman in the jade mask appears at the western edge of the circle, and then, towering behind her, its head showing above the treetops, the skeletal silhouette of the serpent. O glorious one, in your name we set you free. Drink the offering and become redeemed. Ha! You think it's that easy? You think you can say a few words and override the bond? The servant is mine. At that, the beast lets out a terrifying roar and charges towards the group. Alfred shrieks in terror and leaps to the side as a long black limb crashes down on the spot where he stood, sending the heavy iron bowl flying into the air. One braver member of the group stands his ground as the others flee. I am not afraid. I will be... But we will never know what he would be, because with a single swipe of his arm, the servant splits the man in two mid-sentence. The woman in the jade mask turns towards me, and unnervingly, the servant mirrors her movements. I have much to thank you for, Horticulturalist. The Seeds of Redemption, those fools. They were ready to unleash an unimaginable terror on this world. This servant that they worship so much. All it wants is blood. And I'm the only one who can hold it back. She turns and walks slowly away, the servant following in that unsettling mirrored fashion. My attention is drawn to the body on the floor a few meters away from where I stand. The ground is soaked in blood. Friday. I have had some time to reflect on the events of the last few weeks. With our leader dead and our cause in tatters, the Seeds of Redemption has disbanded. Verona and Reuben have made it clear that they want nothing more to do with me. They do not understand what we were trying to achieve. They do not understand that the woken Dendru will not be tamed. The woman in the jade mask may have some hold over it for now, but I know she won't be able to hold it forever. As for myself, I've retreated to strange horticulture for the time being. Nobody comes to the shop anymore, which suits me fine. I will stay out of sight. The woken Dendru will shake off its shackles sooner or later, and when it does, I will remember those who were loyal. Praise the Dendru. Ooh. Defeated Redemption. The redemption has failed, but we must not be dismayed. Ending 7. Bishop's Parasol. So, Reuben Ward is alive, Verona Green is alive, Ennis Alford is deceased, Forrest Vare is deceased, Bethany Coleman is alive, Faye Swift is alive, Thea Ward is alive, and Isidore Burbridge is alive. Oh, is deceased. Whoops. The barrister is deceased. Alright. Thank you, Bad Viking. Day 17. Oh no! I've had my eye on you for some time now, horticulturalist. You think you can do whatever you want with these plants of yours and there will be no consequences. Well, I'm here to arrest you for the murder of Isidore Burbridge. Give him fox button or carnivorous torrent. Well, let's start with a fox button. See what happens. Nice try, but you're still under arrest. Ooh, earlier. Now we just go through and do the rest of the identifying plants. So, on to the next one. And now for the final ending. Here we go. When I arrive at the stone circle, Alfred is already waiting for me. Behind him is a group of 5 hooded figures, all bearing the now familiar mark of the Seeds of Redemption. Did you bring the elixir? We only have one chance at this. It has to be now. Dandrew's elixir. I hand over the bottle of brown liquid and Alfred snatches at it greedily. The redemption is at hand, my brothers and sisters. Praise the Dandrew. Bring forth the receptacle. A shallow iron bowl is brought forward and placed in front of Alfred. He mutters some words and pours the brown liquid into the vessel. As he chants softly, a thin tendril of grey smoke begins to ascend, slowly at first, and then rising with his voice, stronger and stronger, until it is a whirling vortex 20 feet high. The minutes stretch out as I wait with apprehension for what is to come, but nothing happens. Eventually, Alfred speaks again. It is done. Now we wait. An hour later. The sun is hanging low in the sky when we finally hear it. A long, low growl that sends shivers down my spine. Moments later, the woman in the jade mask appears at the western edge of the circle, and then, towering behind her, its head showing above the treetops, the skeletal silhouette of the servant. O glorious one, in your name we set you free. Drink the offering and become redeemed. No, you don't know what you're doing. It must not be set free. The servant starts to move, slowly creeping forward in shuffling steps. The woman focuses hard, straining against an invisible force, but it is no use. She cannot stop the steady progress of the creature. Yes, yes, drink! You are no servant, you must be free! As it reaches the iron bowl, the servant reaches out with slender limbs and raises the receptacle to its mouth. The congregation watches in open-mouthed adoration as it pours the brown liquid down its throat. No! She screams and runs forward, but with lightning speed the creature spins round and a claw flashes out, cleaving her in two across the chest. She is dead before she hits the ground. The group of watchers cheer in response, but their elation dies on their breath as the servant turns to face them and lets out a menacing growl. Do not be afraid. It is done. The woken Dendru will be a slave no more, and we will sit at its right hand as its redeemers. We kneel before you, O glorious one. At that, Alfred sinks to his knees, and behind him the others hesitantly begin to do the same. It is the last thing they do. In moments, the beast is upon them, slashing and slicing with its powerful front limbs, ripping and tearing with its huge jaws. Standing off to one side, I await my fate, rooted to the spot by fear. The servant rears its massive head and shrieks a piercing, primal roar, and with that, it is gone, crashing away through the trees. I take in the devastation that it has left behind, and my stomach turns, my knees buckle under me, and the world swims and turns dark. Praise the Dendru trophy. Friday. I have had little time to reflect on the events of the last few weeks. With Ennis Alfred dead, the surviving members of the Seeds of Redemption has looked to me for leadership. The redemption itself was successful, but Alfred failed to recognize the imminent danger that the freed dendru posed. However, it is striking that I alone was spared by it. I feel it has marked me for some greater purpose that I do not yet understand. News has spread, and while there are some that are wary and envious of our success, including those who I had thought of as friends, many have pledged their support and joined our cause. We make offerings daily to the woken dendru. It cannot be stopped. Praise the dendru. There we go. The redemption. We have set it free. Praise the dendru. Ending 8. Devil's Nightcap. Reuben Ward is alive. Verona Green is alive. Ennis Alford deceased. Forrest Vare deceased. Bethany Coleman alive. Faye Swift is alive. Thea Ward deceased. And Isidore Burbridge is deceased. Right. And we continue. Thanks, Bad Viking. Alright, Day 17 Epilogue. I've had my eye on you for some time now, horticulturalist. You think you can do whatever you want with these plants of yours and there will be no consequences? Well, yeah. Well, I'm here to arrest you for the murder of Isidore Burbridge. Well, we gave him the fox button last time. Let's give him the carnivorous tauren this time. And a little crunching sound. Okay, well, there we go. So, that was focus. That was all the endings. So there are the 8 endings, and thank you for watching along. Thank you for coming along to see what these are, as this is a YouTube only special. We did not stream this. Haha. So keep your eyes open for more specials that we put on YouTube. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out, and hopefully we'll see you on the live stream on Twitch. If not, keep watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. So, thanks for joining us. See you next time. Bye!
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Don't forget to check the description for any links I may have left there. If you like the video, please press like or subscribe to my channel. Next video in the series is up here. Until then, stay safe, have fun.